All right, so if you could just say your name.
Hey, my name is Justin from Manhattan, New York.
Awesome.
And Queens, all over the place.
Yeah, nice. So what brings you over here today, man?
So I'm over here because I'm really looking for some inspiration. I just started a new career in real estate and looking to see if I want to do it full-time or part-time. But what really means the most to me is looking for another stream of income. And I'm at a point where, right now it's been tough for me financially, but I'm just trying to keep my head up and stay in the game and really stay focused, because I realize I've been reading a lot of books, talking to a lot of people, and then hearing people like Damon John, Barbara Corcoran, they're saying it started from nothing really, and you just can't give up. You don't give up, and then you can make it. Then I saw, prior to registering for this event, I got an email, like Damon John email, and it was saying he went from having $40 to God knows how many millions now. So that's the plan. I just want to take advice from people who started from the bottom and made it, and hopefully set myself up.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
There's a record number of millionaires in the United States. How did most create their millions? It is a known fact. 90% have done it through real estate investing. I'm not talking about being an agent. That's a different animal. I don't need to be an agent. I've never had a license in my life. You don't need a real estate license. That's different. I can always hire the real estate agent to help me, just like I hire the accountant to do my taxes. I don't have to do my own taxes. Everybody got that? Right. We're talking about investing like Brian does and the rest of us do to make a quick profit. So, in fact, let's talk about it, because when you've got, in fact, not only one spoke in the wheel, but many spokes in the wheel. I call it the wheel of wealth. Now, not the wheel of fortune like the game show on TV, because fortune implies the return. If you're always focusing on cost, you never get ahead. Nothing venture, nothing gain. However, I don't care if you take that number and divide it in half, 61,000. How many of you, by show of hands, would be pleased even with a check for 35 grand part-time? Let me see your hands, right? And, in fact, you do it over and over and over again. So I'm not here to convince you to become a full-time real estate investor. But what if you could use real estate as a way to fund your new or existing business? We have people start their own charities, nonprofits, take the profit from real estate, even if they're not passionate about it, and siphon it into another passionate project. In addition, you can do what we do as entrepreneurs, because real estate's not to do the deal, followed by number 3, and that is, what is your exit strategy to make the most amount of money in the least amount of time? Now, I also get to share with you, and I will, the fastest, most efficient, most effective way any one of you in this room can turn a profit very, very quickly in the near future. How many of you would be excited to learn that technique? Yeah. I'm not getting a good response.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's continue then. And before I do, I'm going to share with you, most importantly, and Damon asked me to share this because you need to know what wealth principles are. What do successful, wealthy people do that other people don't do? I'm going to go through this quickly, but it applies to you. Number 1, right, you have to believe it's possible before it's ever going to be. And people go, well, I know that. Yeah, but do you practice it? Do you apply it? Is it up here, right? You can know it, but do you apply it? And people go, I have doubts. My suggestion is doubt your doubts and replace them with how to. Because when you started your first job, you were doubtful and scared and nervous, and then you got the hang of it, and you realize that fear is only an illusion. Why would you hang on to doubts when doubts come from mistakes, hearsay, and opinions, right? And success comes from knowing how to do it properly, and like a contractor, measure twice, cut once, and repeat the process. So, if you have doubts, my suggestion is doubt your doubts and replace them with how to. Doubts kill more dreams than failure ever will. And by the way, we are always looking to work with people who are willing to get out of their comfort zone. How many of you agree it's important to get out of your comfort zone to grow? Right? All right, and you're here already, so let's begin. And thinking wealthy is number 2, because there are 2 sides to every financial equation. And that is the investor mindset and the consumer mindset. Now, the consumer mindset always focuses on cost, and we investors don't care about cost because it doesn't have to be our own money. In fact, everybody write down 3 letters, please. Write this down, OPM. What does OPM stand for? Other people's money. Now that sounds funny to a beginner because they're beginners, but this is a common business practice. Why are the banks' buildings bigger than our houses? Because they know how to leverage money, don't they? Right? You put money into a bank account, a savings, whatever, you get this much interest. The bank smartly turns around, reinvests it. If you've got a property in a contract and you've got 30 days before it's going to close, and you see a red flag, something negative about the deal that says, hey, don't do the deal, then with the right conditions or subject to's in the right contract, what can you do? Legally just walk away and no money lost to you or any other party. How many of you appreciate that? Right? You've all heard this, the saying, an ounce prevention is worth a pound of cure, and we abide by that. All right. Now, where she lives, she did her comps, and how do you know a good deal is a good deal? Because we do our comps. Where she lives, the comps came out to be 190 to 210. Now, how many of you, by show of hands, how many of you know what comps are? Raise your hands. Okay. Don't be shy. How many of you don't know what comps are? Okay. How many of you will not raise your hands no matter what I ask you? Can you smile and blink twice? Give me a code, right? Right. So, let's cover what we call the CMAs, Comparative Market Analysis. Now, I'm going to jump up and down and scream. This number has to be accurate. This is the number, your true fair market value, that tells you whether to pursue it or to leave it alone and not waste your time. Because we all know time is what? Money. Time is money. Let's not waste it. So let's go through some details here. Number one, it would be ideal if we had at least 3 properties we're looking at. It would be fantastic if all 3 were in the same neighborhood. Now, neighborhood can vary. That can be out in the suburbs, that can be urban city, downtown, it can be rural area, country, it all matters. I also want the same square footage, the same age or year built, and the same general condition. So 3 properties at least, same neighborhood, same square footage, same age, same general condition. To a real estate training class, I didn't know anything about real estate investing, but I figured I could learn. Again, how many of you have the attitude you can learn anything your heart desires? I said I want to learn. So, long story short, I paid a $3,200 tuition 25 years ago with no guarantees. Within the first 6 months, I did my first 3 real estate deals, and it changed my life because I made more money than my annual salary, and I wiped out my student loans. And that's when I said, I want to do real estate all my life. I'm never working for somebody else, because I, who am not the smartest guy in the world, just made this much money in this much time. And I said, why didn't I do this earlier? Why didn't I start 5 years ago? Holy cow. Why aren't other people doing this? This is incredible. You're going to put out energy and time into making money anyway. I'd rather make a profit than just trade hours for dollars. Are you with me? Yes or no? Yeah. Right? So it changed my life. And you're going, oh, but you're a smart guy because you graduated from college in statistics. You don't know what my GPA, whatever it's called. See, I don't even know, right? Yeah, I struggled. I never got 1 A in college. Not one. I struggled academically. If I can learn this, you can learn it. The only A I know of is my blood type. It's an A positive, that's it, all right? So if I can do it, you can do it. This guy's just never done it, then you can do it. But I want you to write down I want you to write down my favorite statement, please. Everybody write this down, because it applies to you and your future financially. You ready? It goes like this. It is the start that stops you. It is the start. You can make all the excuses in your head you want, but it's the start that stops you. And when you start and you go, oh, that's how you do it. Yeah, catch up. Let's go. Right? Everything we do is avant-garde. Everything we do is cutting edge. That's why we win. That's why we get in and out. That's why beginners do so well over and above those with 30 years. Right? It is the start that stops you.
Taxes. You can't avoid it. Don't mess with the IRS. When you work with our hedge fund, we don't deal with the IRS. We'll show you how to do this. All right, Connecticut, they suck. Let's move on. All right, here we go. I hate them. All right, this is a map of the good old US of A. I want everyone to pay close attention to this. See these dark green states? These are called tax lien states. This is where the hedge funds and banks live. Why? Because they want to make 12 to 50% rate of return on their money. They don't want your house. It's control, own nothing, control everything theory. See these light green states? These are tax deed states, which means when I invest in your property in the light green states, I'm buying your house. It's already went through the auction process. I'm buying your property for whatever back taxes are owed, and it's that simple. Because the counties don't want your house. They're not in the real estate business. They're in the run your companies or whatever, cities. That's what kind of business they're in. Now let's look at the greedy states. You happen to be in it. New York right there. Ohio, Texas, Florida. Those are called hybrid states. Why do you think they're hybrids? I'll just answer it for you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
They're called hybrid states because they have the most inventory. They have to move them or their cities go bankrupt. What do you think? Hybrid states are tax lien, tax deeds, redeemable deeds, and sheriff's auctions. These types of states can have an auction any day they want and move your properties. Only 20% of properties sell at auction. The rest go right back onto a county website. The website's called OTC, Over-the-Counter Tax Liens and Deeds, and I buy your property sitting in my Snuggie. I don't have to leave my house. Yeah, I got a Snuggie for Christmas. I recommend one. What do you think my two favorite states to invest in are? New York?
Florida.
Texas is number 2. Very good. Why? All right, I'll just tell you. In Texas, you pay your bills or they take your crap. That's Texas. It's the good old boys club. You have 6 months. If you default on your taxes within 6 months, I can buy your property. You therefore have 6 months to pay me back, or I own your house free and clear in 1 year. And when you pay me back, you have to pay me back whatever I invested plus 25%. You like these numbers? This is why I'm so glad Damon asked me to come out here and teach you guys this. I'll tell you one state to stay away from. Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right, it's right there. We suck. Don't go to California. It's a 5-year redemption period, and nobody defaults on their taxes because I'm not losing a house in Malibu over 16 grand. Are we clear on that?
Yeah.
What do you think my favorite state to invest in? I already told you, it's Florida. Why is Florida number 1? Okay, it's where people go to die. I didn't kill them, it's what happens. You move from New York down to Sarasota or Fort Lauderdale or Miami, you die and I buy your house for pennies on the dollar. It's that easy.
Wow.
That's what we're going to teach you how to do. It used to have to be rentable or sellable, or I don't want the property. It had to look good. Can I rent it or can I sell it? After 2008, I've changed my criteria a little bit on tax lien and deed investing. I don't care what it looks like, because they're not making any more land. I can make money off everything. Please pay close attention. If you're a real estate investor, you never buy the nicest house in the nicest neighborhood. You buy the ugliest, because it has the most money in it and everyone overlooks it. We want ugly. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, media, I've been working in the media for 10 years. They brainwash you into thinking it's just the pretty houses that make money. No, it's not. You lose more. The money's made in the buy. All right. You want to go to an auction? I'm taking you anyway. You ready? Go ahead and pick out a property. Take your time. Why do I not invest in tax liens? Go ahead and pick one out. Did I give you enough time?
Yeah.
Isn't that crystal clear on what to buy? Yeah, it's got parcel numbers, coordinates, latitude, longitude, LLCs. People don't invest in liens and deeds because they don't know how to do it. It's very, very difficult. This is the list they give you, and you have to vet this and pick a property. So let's go down to the county, and they throw this up, and they put up one of the properties, and the bid's 500, 600, 700, 800. You're sitting there saying, wow, that's low. So it gets to 1,000, you hold your little paddle up. I'll buy it. I'll take it. I don't know what it looks like, but it looks good. $1,000. All right, sold right here. Buyer 12. So you go home. You want to see what your property looks like? There's your house. Clean one owner. What happens if you got this property and it ended up being a crack house or a meth?
Pipe down, little man. 37 years, right?
Oh, hey.
Hey, you still look like that guy. Are you going to just be standing the whole time?
Oh, no, no.
Have a seat. I have a story to tell you. Get settled in.
Woo! Yeah!
Settle down. Okay, so I have a story to tell you. I'm going to tell you how I got started, whether you want to hear it or not. And then lessons I learned along the way in hopes that those lessons are applicable to your own life, because I believe they are. Well, they certainly work for me. So I'm going to start out with the best beginning any kid could ever hope. I had the best gift that any kid could ever hope for. I had a mother and father who loved me. I have met so many people in life that have made a success of themselves that didn't have either. And it's amazing to me, because I think I kind of was sent out to the world with an armor on me called parents that thought I was the greatest thing on earth. We had 10 kids in our family. We lived in a one-bedroom flat in New Jersey. Do you know Edgewater, New Jersey at all?
Woo!
Oh, right.
Cliffside!
You know my town is famous? Well, New Jersey, Edgewater is 2 miles long and about 2.5 blocks wide, so most people don't know it. But we're the largest family in town, and I thought that made us famous. My mother put her 6 girls in the girls' room, and she painted fresh pink every year, and her 4 boys in the boys' room painted blue. And my mother and father produced every one of those 10 kids from the living room couch, because they were devout Catholics, and we were exactly 1.5 years apart. So we knew on our birth. My mother was a powerful motivator. She would tell each of us when we came home from Holy Name Hospital, she'd take a little baby in her arms and say, "Meet your brother Tommy. He's going to be a magnificent." He suggested that a girl like me should really go to the big city. I had never been in New York City, even though Edgewater looked at the skyline right across the George Washington Bridge. Because in Edgewater, it was a factory town, and the mentality was that was the city, and we were Edgewater. So Ramon suggested that he pay for a whole week at the Barbizon Hotel for Women, which was about 2 blocks north of Bloomingdale's on Lexington Avenue. And he said it was a respectable hotel, only women, men were not allowed up. I peddled that to my mother and father. They swore I was becoming a prostitute. And I was arrogant and just said, well, I don't care, I'm old enough. And off I went to New York for the 1 week. About a week after that, I quit my job as a waitress. And I said, New York's for me. And I stayed in New York and got a job answering phones in a real estate office, which was my introduction to the real estate business for the Giuffini brothers. Hello, Giuffini brothers. Hello, Giuffini brothers. I did that 1,000 times a day. And then a year later, Ramon Simone from the Basque Country, and then I found out he wasn't Ramon Simone. His real name was Ray Simon. He was from 145th Street. That's marketing. Nothing wrong with that. And so Ramon Simone said to me, I could call him Ray by now, he said, you know, with your personality, you'd be great as a real estate agent. Why don't I give you $1,000 to start a real estate company? You can own 49%, you'll be the managing partner, and I'll own 51%. I'm like, managing partner? That sounds fancy. Yeah, I'll take that deal. And we opened Corcoran Simone, hyphenated with an accent on the Simone, which I knew that was going to be hot. We worked that deal, which was exactly 7 years, almost to the day, and I had already working for me every day rental agents, and I had 14 people at the Corcoran Saloon. I already thought to myself, I am the happiest person on earth. It was by far my favorite job because I, for the first time, didn't have a boss. Wow. I had had 22 jobs from the time I was 11 until I started my own business, and I liked all the jobs. I enjoyed doing anything, but I hated my boss. And they weren't even bad people. It's just, I didn't like somebody bossing me around. And so when I was in my own business, that was what thrilled me. No one told me what to do, where I could go, what hours I could work, and I worked like 16-hour days as a result of it. Harder than I ever had in my life. 7 years, I have 14 salespeople, and one night Ramon Simone comes home, now raising his 3 daughters, young daughters. I was surprised. He told me that a year after I moved in. My kids, you have kids? I'm making pasta one night, dumping it in the sink, and he walks in. I remember thinking, I must look pretty looking up through the steam of the pasta pot. And he said, Barbara, I have some real serious things to discuss with you tonight. I'm going to be marrying your secretary. That bitch, I said. That's my fancy code. Let me move on. I forgot I had slides to show you. Those are my original salespeople. Okay. The day I ended the business, Ramon Simone said to me, which was that Friday, he said, Barbara, you know you'll never succeed without me.
Wow.
And I swear to God, I knew in my gut that I would rather kill than let him not succeed. It was just like a was owning it. And it wasn't like he was a bad guy. I actually realized in hindsight, if he had said to me, you know, you're amazing, you're going to do so well, I probably would not have succeeded in real estate. But it was the insult and the hate of that insult that every time I was going down with the ship, which happened in 3 real estate cycles over the next 25 years, I would think of one more idea just to stay in business. And it was because I couldn't imagine failing and letting him laugh at me. Isn't that stupid? How's that for being insecure? You know what I really needed? A good shrink. But instead I had this tape going in my head. The day on that Friday morning, I said to Ramon, we're going to jump, we're going to cut up the business, and this is how it is. And Robbie Brown's, all the ones that were making $2-3 million a year in real estate commissions, selling apartments when we grew to 1,000 people, they were making $2 to $3 million selling apartments when my average for the entire company was $48,800. How do you explain that? How does the average be $48,000 a year? And other people, it's not like $60,000 or $100,000, but millions. Well, I made a science, as best I could be a scientist, which I'm really not, but I made a conscious effort to figure out what made these people tick. Because if there's one thing I did is I worked day in and day out, hiring people, interviewing people, firing people. Sadly, 2/3 of the people I ever hired, I fired within 6 months, because sales is not an easy business. But I really want to know how I identify talent when they have no real estate experience, no sales experience. What could I see in that individual that would make me be a better hirer and have a better shot at success? And you know what I found? I used to think it was the contacts they had. If they have wealthy friends, you got a leg up. But only if you're good at sales. Only for the first couple of months you have a leg up to announce you're in this real estate business. If you have a foreign language, it's an asset. You can talk to other people, because New York's a melting pot of people coming from all over the world. If you have a great work ethic, where you work your ass off, my God, that's good for sales. But you know, almost everyone I ever fired worked harder than my top salespeople. How do you explain that? They worked themselves to death. I had to fire them because I couldn't sell. Phenomenal salespeople that were way up here, and everybody who wasn't phenomenal way up here was they all took the same amount of hits in the sales business, because it's a rejection business. A lot of tries, very few successes. You have to hit and hit and hit. But they felt they took less time feeling sorry for themselves. As weird as that is, that's what I came down to. It was almost like I could walk through a sales area of 30 salespeople, say, good morning, Mary, good morning, Joe, good morning, blah, blah, blah. And I could feel someone at their desk making phone calls, going on the computer. But it's almost like if I called them this time,